Live from WRAL News headquarters in Raleigh, your number one source for local news. WRAL News, coverage you can count on.
It is cold out there, but we did just jump up above freezing here in Durham and Raleigh. That will help our melting process. We'll talk about when we'll see the refreeze, though, overnight.
A few of those roads are still slick, so school buses remain parked this noon. Stay with WRAL as we find out if class will be in session tomorrow.
Also, waiting for new information. An officer shot while responding to a domestic violence call remains in the hospital. We'll stay on this story as he recovers.
Temperatures are slowly climbing above the freezing point this noon hour in some places. More melting will happen this afternoon, and a good afternoon it is to you. I'm Jeff Hogan.
And I'm Renee Chu. Thanks for joining us. You're looking at a live picture from the WRAL Storm Tracker right now. We are checking on the conditions of those secondary streets that will likely determine the likelihood of school tomorrow.
So we do have live team coverage for you of this winter weather. We do begin with Elizabeth Gardner in the WRAL Severe Weather Center right now. Just show us how long we'll be in this melting and refreezing pattern.
So we'll be with it for at least another 2 or 3 days. I'm going to show you those cold temperatures that we'll see at night going forward. Take a look here at North Hills, and it looks like it's fairly cloudy, but these clouds are thin, and there is some sunshine making it through. And that sunshine, even though it's somewhat cloudy, is really still melting that snow out there. 34 degrees is our temperature. We now have a southwest wind at 5 miles per hour. That's what's sending some of that cloud cover our way and will help our temperatures to warm up a little bit. This is a look at where what we're seeing right now. It does feel like 30 in the Triangle. It feels like 24 in Roxborough, 22 in South Hill, 25 in Fayetteville, 24 in Clinton. So we do have a bit of a wind chill in most places. Let's take a look at where the storm tracker is right now. We got a little sneak peek at what was happening there. And Brett Neese is in the storm tracker near 540 there in North Raleigh with a look at some roads that look a little bit slick there. Brett, what do you see?
Hey, Elizabeth. Yeah, we are near Baileywick Elementary School, one of these Wake County schools that, of course, are not in class this Thursday, because this is what we're seeing on some of these side roads. Take a look at this. This is a road that is not far from Baileywick Elementary, and this is what we're seeing. Most of those main roads are fine, but it's these side streets that are in these neighborhoods, including here on Downpatrick Lane, that still have some snow covering them. And this is the kind of issues that buses would have to face if they were out on their routes on some of these secondary roads. And so that's one of the reasons that the schools have called off. Let's look at some Sky 5 video now to show you first Apex High School. That's another school, of course, without classes today. This is off of Laura Duncan Road. You can see that most of the parking lot here at Apex High School is clear for the most part, but there are some still slick spots in that area. Also want to go to Wake County now, the school bus yard on Rock Quarry Road. There are some spots with snow, but for the most part, the snow is melted on the ground and on the buses themselves. So we are seeing progress with the sun out and with the temperatures trying to do some work out there on the roads. But back here in the storm tracker, this is another thing that we see. These overpasses right here going over 540 still have snow and ice covering them, causing some slick spots. So those are just a number of examples that show you that the road's still not 100% clear yet. That is just one of the reasons why those schools called off today. We're going to continue to check in on some other roads, Elizabeth, but for now, I'll send it back to you.
Brett, that's good to see. Be careful out there. And of course, the big question is, what will happen tomorrow? We're going to talk about what the scenarios could be. This afternoon, temperatures will climb into the mid-30s. And even though we have some high, thin cloud cover, that may slow the melting down a little bit as compared to yesterday when we had the bright sunshine, but we are still going to have some melting. We dropped down to freezing at 6 o'clock, and then we're down into the 20s overnight. And of course, we'll get back into the freezing again. I'll show you how many days we might see that pattern continuing coming up.
Thanks, Elizabeth. Always stay up to date on the weather changes with the WRAL News app. Download the app for free and turn on alerts to get notified about any weather alerts wherever you are.
And happening right now in the WRAL Live Center, we continue to follow that breaking news out of San Antonio, Texas, where 7 officers were shot last night after an hours-long standoff. They were responding to a suicide in progress call. We do have video of the scene here. A family member of the gunman called police, and when police got there, that's when the suspect opened fire on the officers. He shot 6 more officers while he barricaded on that property. All 7 officers have non-life-threatening injuries. The San Antonio Police Department says the suspect is dead, but right now it is unclear whether the suspect shot himself or if he was shot by police. We also want to mention the suspect was arrested back on January 18th on 2 counts of assault and 1 count of driving while intoxicated.
We're also keeping a close eye on a developing story involving a Raleigh police officer who was shot in the line of duty. This happened Tuesday on Democracy Street. 2 men, including the shooter, are dead, and the officer remains in the hospital in critical condition. The police presence is gone, but neighbors still have questions. WRAL's Sean Gallagher has been covering this story right from the beginning. And Sean, you're asking questions that we know folks want answered.
Yeah, that's for sure, Jeff. But take a look around right now. Renaissance Park back to normal for the first time since Tuesday night. There's no police tape, really no commotion whatsoever. But the quiet of this neighborhood is mirrored by the responses from RPD with any updates about this situation. Now, here's what it looks like today at the home where this shootout took place. Frozen in time. No investigators here, but the evidence markers and bullet holes are a stark reminder of what went down here Tuesday night. Now, I reached out to RPD earlier this morning, but they say they don't have any updates on the officer shot here. Our only update to this point on his condition is from Tuesday night when Chief Estella Patterson said that he made it through surgery and was in critical condition. RPD also tells me they are not releasing the name of that officer at this time by request of his family. Now, the buzz yesterday was around a vehicle that was on the scene with New Jersey plates. We learned it was the dead suspect, Antonio Rodriguez. Investigators pulled several suspicious items from it, but we still don't know what those items are. RPD does tell me that the search warrant that they needed in order to get into that vehicle should be returned at some point, which will have plenty more details about what they found inside that car. But I swung by the courthouse just a couple of hours ago to see if it was there, but they tell me it has not been returned yet. In Raleigh, Sean Gallagher, WRAL News.
Authorities need your help finding a child who is missing and may be in danger. 11-year-old Caden Townsend is believed to be with his father. Cumberland County deputies say Caden's father should be considered armed and dangerous. Caden is 5'4", weighs around 110 pounds. He has brown hair and brown eyes, and we just got word, breaking news, that Caden has been found. So we will go ahead and keep working that story from the Cumberland County Sheriff's Office to see where he was found and if he is safe. They were also looking for his father. Jeff?
Yeah, we'll look for more details on that, certainly, as we follow it this hour. Cumberland County deputies are investigating a death at a home in Hope Mills. Now, authorities found a man dead just before 1 o'clock this morning. It all started as a well-being check, and his name will not be released until all family members are notified. 1 person is in custody out of that. Tonight's Durham School Board meeting was postponed because of weather today, and board members plan to discuss a $7 million budget shortfall in that meeting. The school district says a new finance team will address the shortfall and work on a plan to prevent future budget issues. A big chunk of the shortfall includes 315 positions not accounted for in the budget. Superintendent Anthony Lewis will host a series of sessions to help explain the budget development process to the community. He did issue a statement saying we aim to equip our community with a clear understanding of how the resources you help to provide support our students and schools. He also said that your input is important for the budget. Tonight's meeting to review the shortfall has been rescheduled for next Tuesday.
The Trump administration is putting a halt on federal agreements that require reforms in police departments found to have patterns of misconduct. A memo issued by the acting associate attorney general orders the Justice Department not to carry out any settlements and consent decrees approved prior to January 20th. Several police departments agreed to overhaul practices following deadly confrontations involving officers. President Trump's first trip since returning to the White House will be to Western North Carolina tomorrow. Trump says he wants to assess the progress of the recovery after Hurricane Helene. The president will visit several locations in the region. Stay with WRAL. WRAL throughout the day for updates on the presidential visit.
Robert F. Kennedy Jr. plans to keep his financial stake in some pharmaceutical litigation, even if confirmed as Health and Human Services Secretary. RFK Jr. has earned almost $2.5 million, referring clients to law firm Wisner Baum. That firm is suing drug maker Merck over its HPV vaccine Gardasil. Kennedy said he would divest interest from all cases that involve claims against the U.S. His confirmation hearing is expected to begin next week. And as we take a look at stocks, earlier today, the Dow Jones Industrial Average did not see the bump that it is seeing right now, but it is up 264 points this noon, with all major indices looking good on this Thursday.
And happening right now in the WRAL Live Center, we are getting a firsthand look at Bill Belichick's contract with UNC as their head football coach. It's effective December 12th of 2024 all the way through December 31st of 2029, unless terminated earlier, of course. I did go through it and I looked at a lot of what was in here. He's responsible for coaching, recruiting athletes. He also may hire a GM to take care of any administrative operations as well. His base salary is $1 million, but of course that doesn't include bonuses, performance-based compensation, and benefits along the way. He also will make $9 million a year in supplemental income as well. So those are the big pointers that I took out of Belichick's contract here at UNC.
Michelle, thanks. Next at noon, bogus Botox. The man in New York charged with injecting fake filler and where he got it.
Also, record snow in the South, how millions of people are coping with the cold.
Plus, gas station robberies in Durham, the areas hit in the Bull City, and where the investigation stands.
Keep watching WRAL News over the air Channel 34 and Spectrum Channel 1257.
An esthetician in New York City is charged with injecting fake Botox into several clients without a license. Joey Luther is charged with wire fraud, smuggling, and other crimes related to buying counterfeit Botox from China. Customs and Border Protection seized 150 doses of the Botox and counterfeit drugs from his possession. Prosecutors say none of the Botox was approved by the FDA. One person was diagnosed with botulism toxin after her injection. At least 4 other patients have reported concerns. Each January, NASA pauses to honor those who lost their lives pursuing space exploration and discovery. Today's event specifically paid tribute to the crews of Apollo 1 and Space Shuttle's Challenger and Columbia. A wreath-laying ceremony took place this morning at Arlington National Cemetery in Virginia. The Johnson Space Center in Houston and the Kennedy Space Center in Florida also held commemoration events.
From the Midwest to the East Coast, all the way down to the Gulf Coast, millions of Americans are dealing with another day of frigid weather. And the lack of snowplows in parts of the South could mean dangerous roads for days. NBC's George Solis explains how people are coping with the cold.
A once-in-a-lifetime southern storm causing chaos across the region. In Georgia, icy roads creating treacherous driving conditions and causing this 20-car pileup on a slick hill. Another road so impassable, many people abandon their vehicles. In Alabama, an early start on planned demolition for the Mobile Civic Center as the entire roof came crashing down under the weight of the snow. Canal and Bourbon streets in New Orleans completely covered in ice.
We're out here, you know,
slipping and sliding.
The city saw at least 8 inches of snow, tripling its previous all-time high more than 60 years ago. Tens of thousands in Georgia and Florida are still without power. The winter storm also blamed for 4 deaths across multiple states. 3 major bridges in Jacksonville, Florida closed due to multiple crashes and icy concerns, and hundreds of flights canceled and delayed across the region, causing long lines at Atlanta's Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport.
It's moving very slowly. It's like nothing I've ever seen before.
While the New Orleans airport looked like a ghost town, aerial views of New York City showing sheets of ice floating on the Hudson River, while snow also blanketed the coastline of the Carolinas.
Not supposed to snow at the beach.
Out west, the same Arctic air mass, plunging temperatures into the negatives in Wyoming, frigid enough to freeze one woman's wet hair in just seconds. While back in the south, many agree the cold has quickly worn out its welcome. How ready are you for this all to melt?
I'm ready. We packed warmly. We just didn't know there'd be 8 inches of snow.
Around here, we love snow, but we don't like the cold. That was George Solis reporting. A historic winter snowstorm temporarily transformed the Sunshine State into the snow-covered state.
Sure did. Some people there took advantage of the snow by sledding for the first time or building little snowmen there. Others spent the day cleaning up after the snow had wreaked havoc there, and one homeowner was startled out of bed by a loud thud, and this is what he found.
We never thought for a minute we're concerned about the snow and the ice falling down on the pool enclosure to collapse it. Never thought for a minute that would happen, but we were dead asleep, heard this loud bang. I thought it might have been a tree, but opened the door and it was this.
Listen to it melting there as well. The homeowner says he's grateful his family has insurance because the estimated cost of fixing all that mess between $40,000 and $50,000. Very nice in the summer, but you never see that.
Nope.
Snow.
It has been a challenging week, hasn't it, with this Arctic cold? But there is hope on the horizon.
Oh, you're not
kidding. A few
kidding.
days later.
You are not kidding. Even as early as this weekend, Elizabeth, right?
And we've some 50s in the forecast for this weekend. Sunday in particular. Looks like we could crack 50 for the first time in a while. We take a look at what's happening here in downtown Raleigh. Definitely people bundled up. It looks wintry. The flags here on Fayetteville Street kind of whipping around in the wind. We did see a little bit of a wind chill when we checked in just about 10-15 minutes ago. Off in the distance, you can see Memorial Auditorium and some cloud cover with a little bit of sun trying to peek through. That sun is not going to be as powerful as it was yesterday because we're going to keep those high, thin clouds in place. But we are above freezing now, 34. I will likely climb just a few more degrees. We get at 37 around 2 to 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and that will continue the melting. As a matter of fact, some of the spots that I was watching even this morning with, some snow on the grassy areas, even just in the last couple of hours, have really started to see melting. So it is happening. It is melting out there. Right now it is 32 in Fayetteville, 32 Roxborough, 34 in the Triangle, still 29 in Rocky Mount and Goldsboro. And the reason that the temperature is colder here is because there's a heavier blanket of snow on the ground, and the sun's energy first off goes into melting the snow, and then eventually it goes into warming the ground, and then it starts to warm the atmosphere. Wind chill feeling like 30 in the Triangle, but look at this, it feels like 24 in Goldsboro, 25 in Rocky Mount. Again, that ground is a lot more snow covered there. 22 is our wind chill in South Hill, so it is cold out there. We can see the snow covered ground if you bear with me while we sort of nerd out for a minute. Right here where the clouds are moving, watch those clouds shifting eastward. Now we also see some white color on the ground that isn't moving. That's the snow cover. And I know we have some high thin clouds, which is kind of messing up, what otherwise would be a really cool view here. But we don't see very much white over the Triangle. A lot of that has melted. But you move here along and east of I-95 and the white colors are a lot brighter. That's an indication of a lot more snow that's still on the ground, just hasn't melted as much there. 37 in Raleigh this afternoon, 38 in Durham, 37 in Fayetteville. As folks are heading out, it's going to be cold. We also have a cold night in store. So things that are melting out there right now, if there's any moisture lingering on the roads, it will definitely refreeze. 20 in Fayetteville tonight, 20 in Goldsboro, 17 in Roxboro, 19 in Southern Pines. So we're in for cold temperatures again. We're well below normal. We have the purple shaded areas there. This is a look at how far below normal we are, and well below normal for today and even into the day tomorrow. But we get into the weekend and then we start to see temperatures warming up a little bit. Instead of seeing the, big, yellows and oranges sliding in, I think we'll just be happy to start to see the blue colors lighten up a little bit. However, it does look like we'll be somewhat above normal by the time we get to Tuesday and Wednesday as our high temperatures start to climb into the upper 50s. That's going to feel really nice compared to what we've seen. But let's talk about that refreeze. Again, tonight we're 21. Friday night it's 20. Sunday night it's 27. So all three of those mornings, we could end up with some refreeze out there. So we'll keep your eye on that. If you're hoping for some warmer temperatures, wait till you see our outlook for February in just a little bit.
Yes, can't wait. Elizabeth, thank you. 1 in 3 women diagnosed with cancer will hear the words, "You have breast cancer." Today on WRAL News at 4, the new data showing the growing number of cases in women under 50.
And yes, the IRS really is sending out billions of dollars in unclaimed tax credits. But don't let scammers confuse you. Today on WRAL News at 5, 5 on your side exposes what they are trying to do. And still ahead this noon, an Android for your face. How Google's next-gen glasses could replace your cell phone.
Plus, the benefits of sports beyond exercise, why parents should consider signing their children up for a team. After bottoming out at just under 3% during the pandemic, the average rate for a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage is currently near 7%.
Yeah, experts say it is highly unlikely that we will see those rates near 3% anytime soon, so you might want to consider locking in now. Maribel Aber explains the process.
Raise, lower, or hold. Those are the Fed's options with interest rates when it meets again next week. Most current mortgage rates are down after rate cuts in November and December of 25 basis points each. This followed a 50 basis point drop in September, the Fed's first cut in 4 years at that time. Many home seekers are wondering if now is a good time to buy or refinance. According to Zillow, the average 30-year fixed interest rate is down 5 basis points to 6.67%. The 15-year fixed dropped 4 basis points to 5.95%. While that may still be higher than what many want to pay, CME Group's Fed Watch tool calculates that rate hikes will pause at the Fed's January meeting and may stay the same for the next couple of months. With talk of tariffs and headlines, many economists warn of rising consumer prices and inflation, which currently sits at 2.9%. Any further climb could prompt the Fed to hold or increase the rates. Lenders recommend using one of the many free online mortgage calculators to see what today's rates would yield for your potential house payment, and if a fixed or variable rate is the way to go. That can help you decide if you should wait the Fed out a few more months or perhaps lock in soon.
Maribel Aber reporting there. What happens if you lock in and then the mortgage rate goes down? Well, you'll be stuck paying the higher rate unless your rate lock includes a float down option that allows you to honor your locked in rate or current rate, whichever is lowest.
Samsung and Google are developing augmented reality glasses. Samsung says the companies hope to launch the glasses as soon as possible, but there is no specific timeline. The glasses will reportedly include Google's Gemini AI assistant, allowing people to speak to their glasses, ask them to check email and text and other tasks. Elon Musk is looking for ways to eliminate the penny. Musk says the U.S. spends more than 3 cents to mint each copper coin. Now, the penny is actually made mostly of zinc and overlaid with copper, and the cost of zinc is now double what it was in 2016. Dropping the penny would mean transactions will be rounded to 5-cent intervals, but its elimination requires an act of Congress.
2 gas stations robbed at gunpoint. How those crimes went down, and is there a connection between them? Also,
I thought I would go throughout high school, not seeing a shooting, let alone witness someone dying.
A high school horror. A senior describes a deadly shooting in the school cafeteria as police search social media for a motive. First, here's a look at your winning lottery numbers.
Shot in 4K ultra high definition. Your number one source for local news. WRAL News. Coverage you can count on.
Right now, temperatures are just above freezing. More melting will happen this afternoon.
Yeah, we're checking those important secondary streets for things like the likelihood of school tomorrow because of that refreeze with the ice.
Elizabeth Gardner is in the WRAL Severe Weather Center to show us how long we'll be in this melting and refreezing pattern.
Probably 3 more nights before we finally see those temperatures climbing far enough above freezing that we're finished with it. That plus just the fact that, we're going to get it all melted at some point here. This is, of course, a live look at Zebulon right here on the lawn in front of the town hall. A little breezy. You can see the flags flying, but you can also see some snow left. That's all in the shade of the buildings and the trees. But where the shade has not been, boy, it melted really quickly, and we will continue to see more and more melting for it today. The sun won't be quite as strong as it was yesterday because we do have some high thin clouds, but our temperature is already above freezing. And the breezier it is, the more snow that will melt. The breezy conditions are actually a good melter of snow. So as long as it keeps on blowing a little bit, that also will help to melt some of that snow. The flip side of that is we have a wind chill when it's breezy. It feels like 25 in Fayetteville when it's actually 32. It feels like 26 in Clinton, 24 in Goldsboro, 25 in Rocky Mount and South Hill. So it is still really cold out there. Actual temperatures climb into the mid 30s for this afternoon, but then we're back down around freezing by the time we get to about 7 o'clock tonight. And of course, we get back to the low 20s overnight tonight. So we'll talk more about the temperatures going forward. I think the afternoon highs will be the big winner as we warm up and continue to dry things out.
So major streets are clear by and large in most parts, but school districts don't want to put those buses back out on the roads until they know that the side streets and some of the rural roads are clear as well. Here's a look at Athens Drive High School, courtesy of Sky 5. Parking lot is getting clear, but getting to the school is the problem. DOT crews are working to clear those secondary roads in order for school buses to get students to and from class safely. Let's head up north now. Sky 5 again, round robin here, giving us a look at the Leesville Road Elementary School and high school parking lots. All three schools are located just steps away from each other on Pride Way there. And be prepared no matter what comes our way. You can find weather coverage on WRAL.com, WRAL News Plus, and the WRAL app.
Police in Durham are investigating armed robberies at 2 gas stations this morning. WRAL's Kelsey Coffey is at one of those scenes with what she's learned.
Right now, Durham police are investigating 2 armed robberies. One of them happened at a convenience store on Hillendale Road around 5:30 this morning. So we're in the back parking lot of that convenience store right now, and you can see this Honda here. The driver's side window is shattered. There's an officer here that's staying close by, and we'll take you to some video now of the other armed robbery at a convenience store on Duke Street. Police responded to that call less than 15 minutes before the Hillendale Road robbery. Investigators say 3 men went inside and at least one of them had a gun. The men stole cash and other items from the store before driving off. Here's more video from the other scene. You can see crime scene tape outside the front entrance of the gas station. We're told 3 men went inside and demanded money. One of them had a gun. That man fired a shot inside the store when he wasn't able to get any money. Durham police say the suspects' descriptions are very similar in both of these cases. We know that these locations are less than 10 minutes apart, but police say it's too early to tell if the suspects are the same in both situations. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News in Durham.
Police in Antioch, Tennessee are trying to determine the motive for a deadly shooting at a high school. Officers say the 17-year-old boy rode the bus to school and got a weapon in a restroom. Witnesses say he shot and killed a 16-year-old girl, injured another person, and then turned the gun on himself. Loved ones waited anxiously at a meeting point outside to be reunited with children while students tried to stay safe.
I was freaking out, hyperventilating, everything, and I felt stressed, overwhelmed. I felt like my whole world was crumbling apart in my hands, and I didn't have my phone, so I couldn't call my mom. And so I was really just there, and no one would know that I'm gone.
Officers are examining alarming social media posts they say could reveal clues to the shooter's motive. Some of the online writings that appear to be tied to his accounts contain violent, racist, and anti-Semitic content.
Classes are canceled and evacuations are in place for parts of Castaic, California after the fast-moving Hughes fire spread to more than 10,000 acres in less than a day's time. Castaic is also located in Los Angeles County. The Hughes fire is about 14% contained right now. It's one of 3 major fires still burning in the county. Students at the local high school were forced to flee their school yesterday as that wildfire approached. Sports can be a winning strategy. Why encouraging your teen to join a team could help them in school to excel.
And parents, don't give up. How you can get your picky eaters to try new foods.
Our teacher of the week was a nurse for 20 years before making the transition to the classroom.
WRAL's Ken Smith introduces us to an educator whose caring and compassion resonate with her students and their parents.
Can I read a book?
Sylvia Williams' own story is about reinventing herself after 20 years as a nurse.
What is it about teaching these little ones for you? Well, you know, I love children.
That love for children made the classroom the perfect remedy to keep helping others after an injury ended her healthcare career.
I feel like I'm helping somebody, and as long as I feel like I'm helping somebody, then I feel like I'm doing what I need to do.
On the day we visited Mrs. Williams' pre-K class at John W. Jones Elementary School in Wilson, the children were having lunch.
Remember, if you need help, to raise your hand.
We witnessed her sense of compassionate discipline, love, and patience on full display, all attributes many of her students' parents deeply admire and are so grateful she is their children's teacher.
What's that feeling like when you see that light go on and they get something that you've been trying to teach? Oh, I love it. That's what I like. That's really what I like about it. When somebody say, oh, I can't do this. Oh, I can't write my name. I can't do this. And then you give them a pencil.
Miss Williams, you are WRAL's Teacher of the Week.
Are you serious?
Are.
Oh, thank you so much. Oh, wow.
Ken Smith, WRAL News.
Oh, Miss Sylvia, we are serious. We're serious about you. If you'd like to nominate a teacher, go to WRAL.com and enter Teacher of the Week in the search box. Congratulations.
Totally serious. Sports can help children get exercise, have fun, and make friends. But new research also suggests teens are more likely to graduate high school if they participate in a team sport. Researchers found boys who played a structured sport were 15% more likely to have a diploma by age 20 and 7% more likely for girls. Girls involved in team sports also tended to have higher grades.
Is your child a picky eater? A registered dietitian explains why that's a common issue and offers guidance to help them expand their eating choices.
You know, cops love donuts. Don't take my word for it here. Just take a look. How some officers spent their snow day a little later. If you want to get a permit to become a tattoo artist in the state of North Carolina, the training hours are not required. After a Raleigh shop owner made WRAL Investigates aware of this, we began looking into what is required and how our state's requirements compare to other states. She says a lack of must-have training hours could put people's health and skin at risk.
I hate to say it, but I personally know someone who passed away by a tattoo infection, and there's a problem, and I don't think enough people are talking about it at all.
Well, at 6 o'clock tonight, we'll talk about it some more on WRAL. Hear from Natasha with Invictus Studios, and we'll get the state's response, a dermatologist's take on the seriousness of training for tattooing.
Breaking news right now on Capitol Boulevard near Trawick Road. That's where there is a heavy Raleigh police presence. Let's get straight to Brett Neese, who just got there on the scene. Brett, what's happening?
Yeah, Renee, we have reports that there may be some sort of rescue happening in the creek that runs right here next to Capitol Boulevard. I'm going to step out of the way. We got a couple of police cars right here. This is right at All-Star Auto Sales on the northbound side of Capitol Boulevard. And you can see that the parking lot is a little bit of crime scene tape that's blocked off. The creek, though, back over here is on the other side of this car. That's where that creek is. And they have crime scene tape surrounding the entire area there between the creek, between these two businesses. We're working to learn some more information. I believe we have Sky 5 above the scene as well. If we can take some video from there as well to show you a more of an aerial vantage point to show you just how wide this crime scene appears to be at this point between All-Star Auto Sales and it looks like Rim & Tire, North Carolina. That's the other business on the other side of this creek. And the officers have focused in on this creek in particular. I'm talking to folks here on the ground and working to find out some more information about these reports of some sort of rescue or some sort of person in that creek. As soon as I get some more details, I'll pass that along. For now, live in Raleigh, Brett Neese, WRAL News.
Yeah, Brett, thanks. You do get a better vantage point there, Sky 5. See how spread out that search is right now, and that investigation continues. We'll learn more about it. Elizabeth Gardner in the WRAL Severe Weather Center right now with a look all around a couple of towns in our viewing area. They're pretty much gray skies everywhere.
And we have that high thin cloud cover out there right now. And so when you take a look at the cameras, it does look fairly gray. But I stepped out into the lobby and looked out the windows just a little while ago, and those clouds are fairly thin. So some of the sun's energy is making it through those clouds and is working to melt things and warm up the atmosphere a bit. This is a live look at Fayetteville, and you can see a mix of sun and clouds. Apex, of course, downtown Raleigh and Chapel Hill. So it definitely is a much different view than it was this time yesterday, when yesterday at this time we still had a lot of snow out there on the ground. Our road temperatures are all above freezing, so lots of melting is happening right now, but we do drop back into the 20s overnight tonight. The low 20s, as a matter of fact, and so that's going to freeze everything that doesn't melt today. Right now we have a pretty stiff wind chill out there. It's cold, 25 in Fayetteville and Clinton. It feels like 24 in Goldsboro, 25 Rocky Mount, and 24 in South Hill. As a matter of fact, the warmest wind chill is right here in the Triangle, where it feels like 30. So even though those temperatures are warming up, the wind is making it feel very, very cold. This is a look at where the cloud cover is. We have that cloud cover streaming in from the southwest. Not really enough there at the surface to warm us up much, but at least that's where our moisture is coming from. We don't have enough moisture around to drop to the ground anytime soon. We're looking at dry conditions. The only time period we're watching a little bit is Sunday night into Monday. There's a disturbance that'll roll fairly close to us. Right now, it looks like it would be too far south to bring us any rain, but if anything would happen, it might be Sunday night into Monday, but the temperatures look like they would be warm enough that it would just be a rain and probably very little of it. So outdoor plans for the weekend, got a green light for it. Gonna be chilly on Saturday. It'll be partly cloudy with highs in the mid 40s. And then on Sunday, we should climb into the low 50s again with increasing clouds. But, both days are going to be fine for getting outside. We've now had 2 snow events across our area in the month of January. We're kind of looking at a pattern here. Will that pattern continue? Well, we do have the potential for above normal temperatures as we wrap up January and start the first week of February. But we take a look at our temperature and we're trending above normal. Now, just because we're trending above normal doesn't mean that we won't have some swings in our temperature. It doesn't mean that temperatures will be above normal for that whole week or it'll rain that whole week. We're still, be on the roller coaster ride that we tend to see this time of year. And it's not a promise that we wouldn't see any more wintry precipitation, but we're not looking at, a 2-week deep freeze like we've seen lately. Above normal potentially for February. Same story. It'll be up and down for sure, but we're trending with the potential for above normal temperatures as we look at the trends for February. This is a look at, of course, our next 7 days. 21 tomorrow morning, 20 Saturday morning, 27 Sunday morning. And then after that, a little warmer, still, near freezing on Tuesday. But those afternoon highs should really do the trick for us as the high temperatures climb on up into the 40s. Really, we're going to get some good melting going on. And again, a mix of sun and clouds really all the way through Wednesday when, we may have to bring out the shorts and T-shirts, right, Jeff? 59 degrees?
Hey, you know where I'll be. Get me some golf on.
That's
60
right.
degrees, yeah.
You can find them there. Some children can be very picky about what they eat and what they drink. Why is that? A registered dietitian says it could come down to the taste or texture. Other factors include the impact of their day, meaning if they had a bad day at school, they might not have much of an appetite. Although you want to give children numerous opportunities to try foods, experts caution against any force feeding. And if your child doesn't like a certain food, don't try to make them eat it anyway or sit at the table until they finish their plate.
It takes a lot of exposures for kids to learn to like something. And if they're not given the opportunity, they never have a chance to even learn to like something. So even if you feel like your kid does not like green beans, please continue to offer green beans.
Experts have a few recommendations for dealing with picky eaters, such as be consistent with meal times. Serve at least one food you know that they like. Include them in the cooking process if you're going to serve them something new. And finally, serve smaller portions so it's less intimidating.
Picky can be tricky a lot of times. Well, these are cute and clumsy. China debuts the youngest class of baby pandas, and they have more in common than just looks. Can you believe it?
Just watch them roll around. Oh, goodness. So cute. All right, we got to show you the winning Powerball numbers, though, but we'll have more video of that. 5, 6, 27, 40, 49, and the Powerball is 5. The Power Play multiplier is 2. As we wrap things up, here's a look at a few of the headlines we're following today. We are closely monitoring a developing story involving a Raleigh police officer shot in the line of duty. It happened Tuesday on Democracy Street. 2 men, including the shooter, are dead, and the officer remains in the hospital. Raleigh police say they will not be releasing the officer's name at this time by request of his family.
Temperatures are slowly climbing towards that freezing mark, and we'll get past that after this noon hour. More melting will happen this afternoon. WRAL Sky 5 flew over several secondary roads this morning. We noticed some slick spots there, including Apex High School and Laura Duncan Road. Wake County schools are closed, and we saw some snow still on the district school buses this morning.
Bill Belichick has officially signed his contract to become UNC's head coach. The school released that signed agreement today. It could end speculation that the former NFL coach would head back to the pros. The deal includes additional compensation for competitive and academic performance.
We know police officers are trained in defensive driving, but some were caught stunt driving in the snow. Raising some eyebrows here. Several officers in Houston were recorded doing donuts in their patrol vehicles. A witness captured one officer doing donuts in a church parking lot. A second video was taken across town at a shopping center parking lot. Although witnesses say even though it was fun to watch, it presents a double standard.
They didn't want nobody on the roads, but they are having fun. But if we do it, they're going to pull us over and take us to jail or write us some citations for it. I mean, that just ain't right.
Houston police released a statement saying once additional facts are gathered, appropriate steps will be taken to address the situation internally. But some say there's really nothing to address.
Dozens of panda cubs made their first public appearance this morning as part of Chinese New Year celebrations. Around 25 pandas that were born in 2024 were paraded in front of the camera there for the big celebration in China. Caretakers put dragon fruit on the cubs' feet and then pressed their paws on a special New Year backdrop to leave their prints. The cubs also had a chance to play with the decorations. The Lunar New Year falls on January 29th this year. And in case you were wondering, it's the year of the snake. It should be the year of the panda.
Well, it's going to be the week of it. We should run that every day until the 29th.
Right. The big winner at a University of Nebraska basketball game wasn't a player, but a fan.
He lines up a putt cross court for a new Porsche. He's got the line. It rolls smoothly down the court, braking and gaining speed. It looks like it's a good line, and it's in!
How did he do that? Thanks to that 94-foot putt, the fan is now the owner of a 2024 Porsche Macan. The winning putt is more than 50% longer than the famed bomb at the 2001 Players' Championship by Tiger Woods. Well, afterward, he gave a Tiger-esque fist pump. Oh, Jeff, you could totally do this, couldn't you?
Not in 100 tries. I don't know why we're so surprised. Why would we show it if it didn't go in, right?
But still.
It wasn't perfect.
Exciting.
Pet of the day now, 2-year-old girl from the SPCA of Wake County. This is Bells. She's adorable, bouncy, affectionate. Needs a better place to live, get her forever home. And for more information to do that, you can just go to spcawake.org.
Oh, cute pets, cute pandas, a winning putt.
Good stuff. NBC News Daily is up next on WRAL, the next local news update in 30 minutes.
Yeah, it's a good way to end this.
It is.
You can get breaking news updates anytime with our WRAL News app. Stay safe out there when you're driving and have a wonderful day.
Keep watching WRAL News over the air channel 34 and Spectrum channel 1257.